And introduce yourself.
My name is Ivan Stiff.
You went to what type of dealership?
I went to a large car dealership in the area, and the gentleman practically had no kind of salesmanship. The first thing he did when he came out, and he did the wrong thing and asked me how was I doing.
Exactly.
You know, it was immediate though. As soon as I pulled in the lot, he came to me, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of impressive. But after that, there was no salesmanship. He didn't tell me about trade. He didn't take me to his desk. I kind of like led the whole.
You were in charge.
Process. I was in charge. I had to prompt him for information about the car. He went right to pricing. I told him I wanted to spend $10,000. He led me over to a $7,999 car and said that he could put me in that one. And I asked him, I said, well, I'm going to spend $10,000. This is a $7,000 vehicle. You know, how does that compute? And then he told me about Florida's tax and license. It was really poor. And at that time, I had no trust in the salesman. And then he brought me inside, and we didn't sit down at his desk. He didn't tell me anything about the.
Why do you think you had no trust in the salesman?
Because his salesmanship was lackadaisical. He wasn't confident. I forgot his name. You know, I believe that's the first thing you should when you meet a customer. I think, you know.
How do you get somebody to trust you? You build the rapport, right?
Yes, build the rapport.
And you sell. What's the 5 basic ingredients of the sale class? Starts number 1, who?
You.
2.
Product.
Dealer. 3.
Product.
4. Price. And then time. Right.
He didn't do none of that.
He went straight from how you doing to price.
He went straight from how you doing to the price.
That's why it was 90% logic and 10% emotion.
Yeah.
So now that makes more sense from yesterday.
I could tell you more about him than he could tell about me. You know,
I'm sure.
He didn't have the cards ready. You know, he fumbled for the cards. I had to go inside for him to get the cards. I think you should have the cards ready in your top pocket.
Yes.
You know, right after you greet him, ask him, is he here to see someone particular? Then you give him the cards. You know, that kind of like sets up you leading the process.
Ivan, what would you have done different?
I would have had more confidence in myself. After the meet and greet, I would have brought him right inside. I would have found out, found out his needs, what kind of car that I could find out his needs. Because without finding out his needs, I don't know where to take him.
Exactly.
You know, the process is just lost. If I find out his needs, then I could kind of like steer him to a car. Maybe I can upgrade him a little bit if I, talk to him a little bit about, the cars on the lot. So you really just got to find out about your customer.
Otherwise, you're guessing.
Excuse me?
Otherwise, you're guessing.
Yeah, you got to get into your customer's head. You know, I believe you got to get into your customer's head a little bit. You know, I would have been a little more courteous. You know, you got to be ahead of the customer. You can't let the customer be ahead of you.
Did you meet a manager?
I met no manager. No manager. No, I met no manager. I didn't even know anything about the dealership. You know?
How did the whole process end?
The whole process ended with him asking me, "What do I do for a living?"
In other words, do you have a job?
And then one of the things is he tried to undercut the dealership by telling me about a friend of his with a used car dealership.
Wow.
That really happened right from the beginning. You know, once we went inside, he said, if you want a used car, my friend's a car dealer. So that right there took away the trust from the salesman, because if he's going to cut the dealership, he ain't going to be trustworthy. You know, he's not gonna give me the deal that
That's
I'm
exactly
for.
right.
He's not gonna be trustworthy. So my trust in the salesman went right out the window. So at that point, I kind of looked around for myself. And
do you understand now why I had you do the homework assignment?
Yes.
Okay, so now based upon that experience and yesterday's training, you know that this should be, as long as you follow the sales process, a walk in the park. Yes.
Right.
Very good. All right, round of applause.